The temporary changes to bankruptcy laws will take place for 6 months from the 25th of March 2020, unless they're extended further. And what those temporary changes are, they've been made in response to COVID-19. The government announced changes to bankruptcy laws, which include temporarily increasing minimum debt to issue a bankruptcy notice from $5,000 to $20,000. They've also increased the time required to comply with a bankruptcy notice from 21 days to 6 months, and extended the temporary debt protection available to people from 21 days to 6 months. So this applies to everyone, but in the current climate is particularly relevant for business owners, including directors and sole traders. They need to consider any personal debts they might have within their businesses, but also to consider, although the time has increased from 21 days to 6 months, the longer the time that someone takes to deal with their debts, the more risk that debt increases. So it's not a moratorium effect in that the debt just stops at that point. The debt can continue to increase. It just allows people more time to deal with their debt. A company director is at risk of being pursued personally for company debt in instances where they might have been involved in insolvent trading. If the company is in liquidation, there's a risk that they may be pursued by a liquidator. There's also instances where a company director has personal loans or other amounts due to a company in liquidation, because a liquidator can pursue those personal loans back from that director. Another instance is when there's personal guarantees, particularly relevant for leases. So company directors may be personally liable of signed personal guarantees for leases where the company is trading. So lease guarantees are particularly important now if businesses can't generate cash flow to meet these lease repayments. So if you can't pay your personal debts, the options that you have are to enter into a debt agreement if the debts and income are below a certain threshold. You can also enter into a personal insolvency agreement, which is a Part 10, to avoid bankruptcy. And the third option is if you want to enter into bankruptcy. So each of those options I've mentioned would extinguish the old debt that you've incurred, but they each come with their own obligations and restrictions. And we can give you advice on each of those options relevant to your personal circumstances. What do you need to do to take action? If you're a director and you are concerned with personal liability for company debts, you can speak to an insolvency practitioner, and we recommend that you do this at the earliest opportunity. Another is you can work out which company debts, if any, you've personally guaranteed. So now might be a good chance to go through the company's debts and have a look at what ones that you actually personally guaranteed. For instance, look at credit cards, look at lease agreements. Those are particularly relevant. A third one is you can consider your overall personal financial position, including assets under your ownership. William Buck's Restructuring and Insolvency team is really well placed to provide expert insolvency advice. So our insolvency experts can assist with all forms of informal and formal solvency restructuring options for a variety of people. The earlier that we're involved, the more likelihood we have of achieving the best outcome for clients. So we really encourage people to act early and to speak to an advisor.